Welcome back to High and Low, and welcome to the first installment of Dirty Laundry. Sean, Hugo, and Mitch are here with me. No Steven this week, but he'll definitely be here in spirit for the next few minutes. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but Steven has an issue with Steph Curry. He slanders the man every time his name comes up on the show and in the group chat, especially in the group chat. Here's an example from last week's Quick Bite.
Yeah, I got Magic. He has some Finals MVPs while Curry can't do it, and I think Curry's about to get exposed. Magic Johnson.
We're going to dive into Steph in a future episode because I think there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
Just give it 2 months when he gets exposed.
Oh my God. I really wish Steven was here so we could get into the psychology behind this hate, and I'll give him his chance to defend his position. So instead, we'll look at the logic and dissect it. So Steven doesn't seem to respect Curry's success because of the lack of Finals MVPs, which we've talked about on the show before. So, how valid is that point? So, with all that Steph has accomplished, his back-to-back MVP seasons and numerous records he holds, being the face of a dynasty, the way he's revolutionized the game of basketball, much like how, say, Wilt, Shaq, and Magic, we talked about Magic earlier, how they did it. How is it possible to diminish him as a player because of a lack of Finals MVPs? And the idea that he has not won a title on a team where he's the lone superstar. I think that was mentioned before. How can you guys help me see this logic, please? Who wants to jump in here?
We've discussed the importance of Finals MVPs compared to regular season MVPs and so forth. I was more on the thought of like Finals MVPs are not that important, not as important as regular season MVPs. You're talking about an MVP of a max 7 game sample size. So it's really, not that indicative of someone's career, especially a guy like Steph Curry. That being said, when you have a bunch of notches on your belts, you always want the one that you don't have, right? So it probably bothers him a little bit, not enough to really affect him in any way, but I'm sure he wants one. I'm sure he's going to go hard as soon as Clay comes back healthy in a couple of years to try to win another title. But I don't think I don't think it tarnishes his career at all.
It's nonsense.
At all.
Pure nonsense.
Okay, listen.
Tell us, Mitch.
Listen, the man won back-to-back MVPs and was the only unanimous MVP ever. He shoots 50, 40, 90 or close to it every year. He single-handedly changed the way basketball is played in this era. Well, what more do you want? What more do you want from this guy? He's going to probably end his career as the best point guard of all time, maybe second. That's his ceiling, maybe the second best point guard of all time. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Leslie will tell you that, because Iguodala and KD outplayed him.
Yeah. So
quote unquote outplayed him.
So you put Steph Curry, you put him in a small forward's body and he has to guard LeBron and he wins the Finals MVP. That's as simple as the Iguodala one is. Like the only reason Iguodala got that, and he played excellent in that series. But if Steph has to guard LeBron in that series, then it's his. And Iguodala doesn't have to do nearly as much as he should have had to do in the offensive end because of Steph. That's the thing. Steph never gets enough credit for his gravity. Everyone can be great around Steph because of how great Steph is.
Yeah.
And I think that Iguodala pick was sort of an emotional pick too. They probably saw the Warriors being the chance for the next 5 years and saying, "Oh, Steph's definitely going to get his." This was Iguodala's, kind of shining moment of his whole career. Let's give him the Finals MVP. Little do they know that they're going to get Durant, but
right.
So I don't think it. Yeah, like Curry should have won MVP. He was the MVP of the team that year. But yeah, they gave it to Iggy for emotional reasons.
Okay, so let me break it down for you guys, man. I'm the resident psychologist here. right? So
You're not a psychologist, I think is an important thing to say.
Yeah, let's
listen, man, I'm
make
about to
that
get my
distinction.
man. What's wrong with you, man? Jeez, no soup for you. So so some people, right, Stephen, they have an image and a vision of what a strong, masculine looking basketball player is like. So if you see the kind of players that he likes, they're tall, they got swollen muscles and stuff
They're
like that.
aggressive.
They're aggressive, they drip sweat all over them and stuff. So then he looks at a guy like Steph Curry, regular looking, light skin, always smiling, good teeth, like, that kind of stuff. So
Say regular looking.
So basically, it sounds like you're saying Steven's not attracted to Steph Curry.
Good psychologists start.
Or maybe he is attracted to him. That's the problem.
Yeah, this guy's talking about glistening skin and bulging muscles. These are the players that Steven likes.
So when he sees a guy like Curry, he knows, like, Curry's not strong enough to, like, protect him and provide for him or any of that. Why did you say
Oh, he's gonna have such a fun time.
No.
Oh my goodness.
I can't get through it. Even, man, I love for you, man. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. give me the flagrant 2. It's okay.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, the only way I can respond to anyone that would call Steph Curry soft is that you're not really watching the game the way it's played today. You know what I mean? Guys aren't necessarily expected to drive to the basket, dunk all the time, and in the 80s, the 90s, they're done. And as we mentioned before, Steph has revolutionized the game. The game is played a completely different way. No one shoots a 3 better than he does, but that doesn't necessarily diminish his game. That doesn't mean that he's any less of a player than, say, someone like LeBron James, who has the glistening skin and the bulging muscles and drives to the basket with aggression and ferocity that someone like Steven probably is attracted to. Not attracted to, but appreciates. But I think it's just the way that we have to. I think we just have to kind of recalibrate the way that we watch the game and how we're analyzing what's good basketball and what's bad basketball. Because I don't think anyone can say that kind of basketball that Steph plays is bad basketball.
No.
Right?
And you know what? Kind of contrary to your point, actually, he's very efficient when he drives. He's a very good finisher. Like,
yeah,
he just doesn't dunk, right? Like,
yeah, and I think it's also the perception of. I mean, we see the way that teams play nowadays because it's very switch heavy. They focus on the smallest player on the opposing team, and they kind of hunt them. And in many of those finals games, Steph Curry was the guy that say the Cleveland teams would go after.
Yep. Right.
And it's painting this picture of Steph Curry as being this soft player. It's like, well, no, he's just the smallest of a very big team.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he himself is a soft player. I mean, the guy led the league in steals, so it's not like he's a bad defender.
2 years in a row.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just at a loss, which is why I just had to air out some dirty laundry this week. Hugo took it to another level, maybe a level that I didn't expect, but hey.
It's my professional diagnosis, man.
Hey, well, that's why I'm glad Mitch jumped in just to.
Quick caveat: not a psychologist.
I am. I got a PhD, man. Come on, trust me.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I don't know if any more final thoughts need to be added to that. Poor Steven.
Yeah, we'll leave him alone. Like I said, he's here in spirit. All right.